Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is vacation time for all the kids in school, so I had a little extra time this week, and I felt that why not make it a big week of interviews and gorilla position specials? And this week, tonight, I will lead it off with he's been a member here of the gorilla position community now for probably around a year or so. Uh, he's a at his time in the United States, he's wrestled in New England area like Maine, Boston, Rhode Island, and probably a couple others. He is a Canadian-born independent professional wrestler. I believe he's been in it probably 5 to 7 years. But why let me tell you what's going on? Without further ado, excuse me, let me bring in Mr. Character known as Mr. Jeff James.
Jefferson.
Jefferson.
Thank you, sir.
How you doing, brother?
I'm a little tired. I'm not going to lie, man. I've been out all day just going for walks and doing my training at the gym. Just my physio and chiro exercises because I have a herniated disc in my L5 right now. But other than that, man, I'm fantastic.
Well, Jeff, how old are you, buddy?
23. Turning 24 this Sunday.
I am turning 50 years old, and I haven't been in the ring in 2 years.
Yeah.
And I've had 23 years of active duty, where I've torn my left ACL partially twice. So say out of 25 years, I've probably had 4 years of duty off.
Fair enough.
So 23 years old with a vertebrae problem already.
Yeah.
At times, there's what we call in this business, it's called the bump card. Jeff, at 23, 23 years old with a disc problem already.
It's crazy, man.
Yes. How long do you think your future could actually be in a professional wrestling ring, knowing now that you're at 23 years old, especially with the way the professional wrestlers are expected to move and do their things nowadays? How long do you perceive that you'll be able to go?
Man, it's kind of hard to say right now. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna go as long as I can, and whatever happens. I'm just gonna go for it. You know what I mean?
Do you know how you injured it, or what move? What aggravated it? How did it happen?
I think it was just built up over time. Just working at the Halifax shipyard, doing a bunch of labor work, and then along with that, doing the back bumps and deadlifting like 250 pounds. You know what I mean? So it just.
Jeff, what if I told you I deadlifted 300 pounds, not probably a little over 2 hours ago?
Oh, really?
Back in work. Yep, 300 pounds. I'm aiming for 400 by month's end.
That's dope, bro. Congrats, man.
Yep. We have a kid here, a high school student.
Yep.
He's already deadlifted 550 pounds.
Shit, man. He's going to be a machine.
Yep. He's a wrestler.
Oh, really?
Yes.
He's getting that Brock Lesnar back.
Yeah, he is. Short dude, too. So, let me just get into it early.
Certainly.
Jeff James. Jeff, tell everybody where you're from. Just give us a little insight on who you are, where you're from, and I'll get into it from there.
All right, sounds good to me. So my name is Jeff Ferguson. I go by the upperclassman Jefferson James in professional wrestling, and I am from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Been born and raised here around the HRM, and I basically grew up in a small little town called Lake Echo, Nova Scotia.
And what was your first experience and exposure to professional wrestling?
So my first experience and exposure to professional wrestling was when I was about 9 years old. Me and my brother, we were skimming through the channels, and then wrestling came on. It was Friday Night SmackDown, so we were like, we never watched it before, so why not, right? And the first match that came on was Jeff Hardy versus Mr. Kennedy. And right away, I was intrigued by Jeff Hardy because, one, he had the same first name as me. Two, he had really cool hair, just a persona behind him that I can instantly gravitate towards. And then once I saw him wrestle, I was like, wow, this is cool. He can do all these flips and certain movements. I'm intrigued right away, and I want him to win. And sure enough, Mr. Kennedy went over because he had the money in the bank and he had to look strong, right?
Yeah.
So I was a little disappointed. I was like, oh, my guy lost, but maybe next time. So I just became a fan solely because of Jeff Hardy. And then the week after, my brother found this guy in our neighborhood. He just recently moved in, and he was telling him about the wrestling show we watched, which was SmackDown. And so he's like, oh, come with me. I have these magazines I want to show you guys. So he showed me. I read one, and I read a biography about Shawn Michaels in it. And I was like, wow, this guy's cool. Like, his name's the Heartbreak Kid. And from there, I just started to like reading the magazines and just watching wrestling every week.
Cool. What was your first live exposure?
My first live exposure was I think it was April 2009 at the Eastern Shore hockey rink. I'm not sure if he performed there or not way back when. But it was ran by MSW, which is also ran by Devin Chittick.
Yeah, I was there, definitely.
Okay, cool. And the first match I saw was Devin Chittick and or back then known as X-Ray Kyle Cruz against JJB.
Yep.
X-Ray Kyle Cruz did a 5-star frog splash, and instantly I thought it was cool as shit because I got to see a five-star frog splash in person. Well, not 5-star, but it was a frog splash.
Yeah.
Right then and there, I was like, I got to go to more of these, you know what I mean? So after that, I just started going to like more local shows gradually because I didn't really know too much about it, and I only knew MSW, and I thought that was the only thing that was running. From there, man, just never really stopped one.
All right. So now a young Jefferson James, not yet, but a young Jeff Ferguson.
Certainly.
Yeah. What was your like? What gave you the oomph, so to speak? What nudged you to say, man, I think I want to look into this. I think I want to see what it is to become a professional wrestler.
Well, when I was when I turned 9 and first became a fan of wrestling, me and my buddies, we did backyard wrestling in my front lawn and tore it up. And my dad would always come out and holler at us, but we didn't care. And we were giving each other like shoot DDTs, like power bombs, you name it. Sometimes we would even go on the street and do it. And fuck, man, we endured a lot of pain. I was like, well, I can definitely handle it because back then I kind of knew it was a work, but not entirely. And I was like, oh, I could definitely become a wrestler when I grew up. And I just watched it more, you know what I mean? Like I would watch like 90s wrestling, 80s wrestling, and I was like, wow, I really want to like do this when I grow up. Like there's just no ifs, ands, or buts. You know, like my parents would always try and gravitate me towards like the trades or like getting a career outside of wrestling. And I was just always like, nah, I don't really want to do that. But what really, really gave me the was when I was 15 years old. Devin Chittick actually had a tryout for his wrestling school right after Lil Blay, aka Cody Brown, graduated. And I was like, oh, I want to try this. You know what I mean? 15 years old, start young, right? And so he taught me how to do back bump, and then he made me do 3 minutes of back bumps and then high knees. And the first time I puked, Chef Boyardee. I went back in, I did it again. And then he taught me how to hit the buckles, and I puked after that. My dad walked in, and he was like, yeah, I don't want you doing this. So right then and there, I was like, oh, I really want to do this. And I would tell myself on and off, nah, I don't want to do it. Nah, maybe I should do it. You know what I mean? And then I met Tyson Dukes at a show because I was messaging him as an annoying little fan, wanting to be a wrestler, wanting to train with him at the Can-Am Wrestling Dojo. Yep. And then I met him. He was like, yeah, you know, like if you eat like this, because he was talking about dieting with me. He's like, then like you can wrestle like these guys. And I was like, oh, okay. So I guess Tyson Dukes really gave me the oomph, if you ask me. But like it was just a build up from like doing backyard wrestling, doing the in-ring assignment with Devin, and then meeting Tyson Dukes.
Okay. How old officially were you, and where did you first go to like legit wrestling school? And this is when it really started. And like, how old and when did that happen? And where was it?
So I would have been about 18 years old, just graduated from high school, looking into wrestling schools. At the time, I was thinking Can-Am Wrestling Dojo because the guys like Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley all trained there. And then a new school opened up in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia by the name of TCW Wrestling Academy at the time, but things kind of happened with that promotion, so it got changed to Patriots Gym, which was ran by the man at the time, the American Patriot, now goes by his actual name, Troy Merrick.
Yep.
And so we were training for about 3 to 4 months, just learning the basics. He brought us on the road here and there for Red Rock Wrestling so I can meet guys like Mike Hughes, Brody Steele, just get my feet wet, basically, and familiar with everybody. And everyone gets familiar with me, Cody Boggs, who was also known as Kimba, and Backwoods, a.k.a. Dwight Griffiths. So we learned the basics, and then after that, I did some more training with guys like Kobe Christ, Sabotage, Moondog Dylan Davis, and Lil Blay, all up until January 2017 is when I had my first actual live match.
Yeah. So brings you up to 2017, your first live actual match. Where did that happen? Who was it with?
So it happened in Spryfield, Nova Scotia. I forget the exact date. I think it was around like January 31st.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you the story before I actually got booked. So I was sitting down, right, just like helping out and just hanging out for a little bit. And the promoter for UCW, Chuck Martin, came up to me and goes, "Hey, young fella." And like, no, I completed my training, Chuck. And he goes, "Oh, okay, I'll get you a match right now." So he goes up to Greaser James Carr and he goes, "Hey, Greaser, I'm going to put you in the ring with this guy." And then he was like, "Oh, well, I'm already working this guy, who was Kimba, but also known as Nemesis." That was his first gimmick.
Yeah.
"I'll put the two of you against Greaser." And so my first match was a handicap match against Greaser with Damian Spades in his corner and Nemesis at the time, my partner.
Yeah.
So it was actually not a bad first match, even though I was nervous to do shit.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that I got to have my first match with a guy like Greaser, who's been around for like maybe 4 or 5 years at the time, maybe longer. And sorry if I'm wrong, Greaser, but I'm just very bad with like history.
Yeah.
So yeah, the only spots I really had, I think, a little bit in the beginning, and then the hot tag, and then after that, Damian Spades pulled me out of the ring because we were gonna go for a double line from the corner, and then he just pushed me into the post, a little bit of heat, and then Greaser went over on Nemesis.
So 2017, what year would it have been, and how did you and I come to meet?
So you and I, we talked on and off on social media, and then finally I decided, put everything aside, like all the pictures and such. We met in August 2017 at what was that bar called that we
Yeah. I know the one you're talking about.
Anyway, so we were setting up the ring maybe the night before, and I introduced myself, and you're like, "Oh, I'm familiar with you. I've seen you on social media, and you're doing my seminar tomorrow, right?" I said, "Yeah." And so I showed up the next day. I helped out as much as I could with the ring. And then we basically got in the ring. You went over a few things with me. At the time, Vladimir Durov, a.k.a. Big T, a.k.a. Tieran Hawkins, and another trainee who was training, but I guess it didn't quite work out for her. And I don't want to bury her, so I won't mention just as of right now. And
I remember her. Yeah. I remember her very well.
Nice woman, though.
Yes, very nice woman. I believe that night I actually I critiqued a lot of your fundamental basics, yours and Terran's that when I first met yous.
Yeah.
Which is normal with me. Because the fundamental basics, like the lockups and things of that nature at Kowalski School, we ended up doing that stuff repeatedly before ever getting into the ring, even hitting ropes, learning how to go outside. Like the old school stories that you guys hear of, my class was the last of that Mohicans, where you didn't get in the ring the first day of school.
No,
you waited almost up to 3 months before you legitimately were in the ring. But anyways, I had seen Troy's work. I thought his work was good, and I imagine kids that he's training now are 20 times better, because I guarantee when I first started training kids, I really didn't look at the perspective of it. I was totally overwhelmed, and there was probably certain things that I missed too. And it wasn't until I got better and more experience. And
Right.
I went to seminars and I learned from other people that were legit like trainers and things like my best ones are with Al Snow. I took over 12 of them with Al Snow. So I learned a lot, just not in ring, but I learned a lot of what to say to young guys just coming up in the business.
Mm-hmm. And you said a lot to me in Backwoods when we first came up and started work for you and Devin more often, man. And I don't know if
Now,
I
how
say.
did you ever? Were you
Go
and
ahead.
Dwight friends before the business?
No, but he knew about me as a fan because I guess I used to troll online and always comment on like the wrestling pages and all that stuff. So he knew who I was, but I had no idea. And in all honesty, I thought he was someone else because I only knew one Dwight at the time.
Yeah, yeah,
And when he started training, I was like, this guy looks familiar. So like I looked him up and I was looking at pictures. I was like, oh my God, this guy was a referee too. And like, because that's basically how me and him both started like getting into the business was through reffing.
yeah.
He stopped for a couple of years, and then I guess that's when he started training with Troy, and he happened to be in the same class as me and Cody Boggs.
Well, the way that you gel with Dwight, you would
Mm,
swear that you guys came up like as buddies through school and things of that
oh,
nature. Like I never knew that. I thought you guys were homies.
yeah, no, man. I guess the first day, like when I first like introduced myself to him, he was like, "I'm Dwight," and I was like, he's not gonna like me." And the more we started talking, I was like, "Oh, this guy's actually cool." You know what I mean? Like I could definitely vibe with him because I was
Yeah,
helping like load the ring, then unload the ring for like independent shows before actually training and refereeing certain shows here and there. And I was so uncomfortable. I just felt like I didn't really have anyone to talk to. And then the second I met Dwight, we just gelled like that, man.
yeah. So what do you do now? Like who you work what promotions you working with now? Or actually, you know what? Let's not jump ahead.
Yep.
Let's talk the beginning. What are some of the early promotions you work for coming up?
UCW, but they were mostly VIP matches. Just getting my experience. I did a little bit of New Breed Wrestling as well. They're based out of Toronto, Nova Scotia. ACWA, which Cape Breton before Sheldon McLean started reopening ECPW. And Narcissus Saint was also the booker of that show at the time too. ACWA, I mean.
Yeah.
And then I don't think I started work for you until August 2017 as a referee for a little while.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like here and there, I'd get like certain bookings due to my attitude, my etiquette, and whatnot. I just wasn't in the right frame of mind at the time to like try and get better. So it would just be like occasional bookings that I would get.
Interesting.
Mm.
Interesting. What are some of the things you've done in the United States that some of the fans here would be interested in?
Oh man, and in all honesty, like this is actually a really good question because I have people ask me all the time, what have I done outside the Maritimes? I did a lot of stuff shows in the United States, but the two that really stick out to me the most that I think fans would be a lot more interested in is the 10-day Skohegan Fair that I got to wrestle on, thanks to you, of course, and a sharing intent with Sidewalk Sam, aka Adam Jack Pelly. God love him. And we're gonna get to that later. I know it. And
Oh yeah.
um and wrestling in Fenway Park. Sorry, there was a third one that I would like to mention.
Okay, go ahead.
Ever title in America, which was for you.
Oh, thank you, buddy.
No problem.
Thank you. So we're gonna tell everybody about the Skowhegan Fair. And Jeff, these if the younger wrestlers are out there listening, we all know it's about getting the P double day dizzle.
Yes, sir.
But old school ways of breaking in, especially going to another country, was you're lucky that the guy is even putting the roof over your head to sleep in or to sleep.
Yes, sir.
And I guess before the tour even started, Larry Huntley, who is a promoter in Maine, gets in touch with me and he's like, Jason, who the fuck is this I seen him online. He goes, I had to look at this kid to see what he looks like. Who is this blonde, pretty boy trying to tell me how much he's getting a night and where he's staying and what he's doing? I'm like, what do you mean, Larry? He goes, Jason, one of the kids that you booked evidently doesn't know the deal. I was like, well, what do you? And when he told me that, I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
So basically, to tell everybody, Jeff had one strike on him in March of that year before ever meeting Larry in August. So, which brings us now to the fair. Jeff shows up not knowing nobody. Literally introduces himself to the promoter, talks to the promoter. Promoter walks back away. Jeff proceeds to open his gimmick bag, push the promoter's merchandise to the side, proceeds to set up his own stuff. Therefore, the promoter comes over to me. Jason,
Elaine.
This kid is about to get fired before even wrestling a match on my shows.
Mm-hmm.
You need to go out there and tell. And I remember telling you that.
Man, I was petrified afterwards. I was like, "Oh, what did I do? What did I do?" Because he was like, you're moving the promoter's merch, right?" And I was like, you gonna put it back?" Yeah, and I end up like freezing, and I just walk away, and he had to put his merch back because I don't know what else.
So then the weekend's going pretty good.
Yep.
Until we get in there with one certain tag team matchup that me and Jeff are tag team partners, I believe.
Yes, sir.
And Jeff.
And we had a before as well.
Yeah. And Jeff decides to spit a Luga on Bob frickin' Evans.
That damn young Jeff.
God love Bob. He didn't tear you. Bob was very nice. But Jeff, that is one of the classic weekends of my life. I must say.
What popped me the most, like not in that moment, but looking back, your jaw dropping, going, "Bobby, sorry." I laugh at that all to myself. I'm like, man, Rumble could have just said, "Bob, kick that kid's fucking ass."
I didn't want to see anything bad happen to you, Jeff. I'll never forget looking back and backstage and Pelly's had them say it.
Oh man, and I looked around the whole audience and I was just like, I fucked up. And I was telling them by my facial expression. I was like, I'm an idiot right now. I know I'm an idiot.
That was classic.
But the second we got backstage, man, I was shitting my fucking pants. Not legitimately, but figuratively.
Yeah.
Like,
hell yeah.
And he would have had every right to say it. But he was kind enough to be like, okay, here's the rule. If you're going to spit on someone, ask before the match. But just so you know, don't do it to me. And that's Sami Callihan's gimmick. What did Sidewalk Sam say? Yes, I remember Rumble's face more than anything. Because you bring it up all the time, Pelly. Those good times. You know what? I take the good with the bad all the time. And that fair was one of those moments where I took the good with the bad.
Yeah. That was a good one.
It was, man. And I met a lot of cool people on that tour, too.
Yeah.
I'm grateful to have some good matches with them as well. Like
that was the same vacation I believe we had with one night was what's his name there? Ronnie Ribs. Was Ronnie Ribs?
Two moves, kid. Two moves. That moment him and Jacob had, oh my Lord, that made me laugh backstage. I felt sorry for Jacob. That JD in the background?
Yeah, it is.
What a jet. Growing up so fast, man.
JD.
Your hair
Kids.
since the last time I saw you too, man.
So I mean, now that night, I believe we had Ronnie Ribs stay.
Yep.
Uh,
Joe Louis.
yep. Did it one night. Oh, what that tag team? Didn't that tag team stay one night? They were making fun of Chris. They were making fun of Folly. And I made them all laugh with the 1-2.
Oh, damn.
Oh, what was their names? Two black kids there.
The cool people.
Yes.
Sammy D and AC.
They were like, "What's up with that dude with the 1-2?
I
He
remember
looked like the Gerber baby." I
Ronnie
go,
looked at him in the middle of the match that you had with him and Sammy, and he tried to break gimmick, man. Holy fuck, man. That was hilarious too. I can see Ronnie just looking at him and just like smirking. The cool
Yep, he put the cool people.
buddy. Just kidding. I love you, bro.
that
But yeah, those guys were awesome, man. Very nice.
was a good time. And then I had to educate everybody that night. The Ronnie Ribs was with us, and we're in the middle of we lit that little not a bonfire, but I had the tiki torches going.
Okay.
And the noise that the trash truck made with that bomb, like it was like a bomb boom sound, and Ronnie Ribs like had flashbacks from when he was in war.
I don't remember that, man.
You don't remember seeing his body move?
No.
He might have not been there at that point in time, but there was one night that they were emptying the dumpsters and it made a huge, and Ronnie like jumped.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think I was there when that happened. I might have went to use the washroom because I had to walk like way into like there was a change room, I believe, and washroom like intertwined all the way from that trailer.
Yes.
So I might have been away.
Yes, it was.
Washroom and take care of my business.
Yeah. Well, maybe you'll get a chance to come up with Adam Jack Pelly again. I know he's going to be on the Skowhegan Fair this year.
We'll see what happens, man. These times, man, just to redeem myself. But if Bob Evans is there, I definitely would love to prove myself and work with him to redeem my man. Because every day about it from time to time, I'm like, what if I didn't do that? You know what I mean? But I know what to do the next time if I ever work someone at the caliber of Bob Evans. So
What's the last match? What's the last match you had? When's the last time you've been in the ring?
Oh man, it would have been about 7 months from now, but it was a squash match for the Atlantic Canadian Championship for UCW, and it was against Moo Miss, aka Jennifer Crawford from MasterChef, actually the winner of the 2019 MasterChef. And I basically cut a promo saying I'm taking the night off. Then they came out and cleaned up the crowd, a little bit of gaga with them. I jaw jacked, gave an old pie face, a little cocky with the crowd. They gave me a kick and a DDT, top rope.
And this was against a female competitor?
Non-binary.
What is
competitor? So it's basically where they're gender fluid. Like they don't necessarily believe like they're a male or female. They feel like they're in between, where they have like certain aspects of male, certain aspects as a female, if that makes any sense. So it's kind of like level playing ground, I guess you could say.
Okay. I guess if that's the way somebody wants to feel about themselves, that's them.
And I mean, I'm happy with it, bro. And I'm happy for them. And that's just the way I look at it. My best match. Oh, man. That's actually a really good question. I don't really have like one specific, but if there are two that really stick out to my head, it would have to be with you, Jay, in IWE for Brewer. Because my first time working on the fly. Well, not my first time, but I think it was like my second or third time working on the fly. And it felt really organic. And AP Sims in Halifax or Mir Brunswick.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks for whoever asked that question. I couldn't see because
I would imagine I'm going to be. Ha 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 ha. It is Dwight Alexander who asked that question.
oh,
I
well,
can
since
see it
here,
off
I
my.
had with Dwight.
See everybody who doesn't log into the StreamYard version of it,
Yeah,
so I can see who it really is. Yep, that's Dwight.
but I should, if I am gonna put a third for like one of my favorite guys to work, it would definitely be Dwight, because me and him, like, we started like from having like really bad matches to like developing like very good to work with, pretty decent match. But good to me most from all of our matches what Dias.
So Jeff, and this is just a question.
True.
So I'm a parent, and I know that, like, because I need to know this, because I'm the father of a daughter, I'm the father of a son. Say I brought my kids to the wrestling match where you wrestled the woman or the non-binary person, okay?
Yeah.
Now I just had to have you explain that to me, okay?
Right.
Now, does everybody in that crowd know that this girl, like, does everybody know the background, so to speak? Because the reason why I say this is, as a human being, men are taught not to what? Hit women.
Right.
Even though wrestling is a work, we understand that. But little kids are very influential. As as hard as it is, it's a very hard situation as a father and or parent to be in when said circumstances are not that well explained, like you explained to me. Because I, for one, just myself, I'm not a fan of intergender wrestling, only for the simple fact is that to me, in human real life, we are taught as men not to put our hand on women. You know what I'm saying? And you know what is going to suck someday in life is that people who do not recognize themselves as a woman get into a fight with said man, and then all it takes is some barbarian like me who doesn't know that this woman actually does not care that the man is beating her up.
Right.
So, like, there are sticky situations where, yes, I I totally respect people's sexual orientations and what they want to do, but when it comes to the violent side of it, whether or not said person wants to be recognized as anything, as a respect platform, if I see resemblance of womanly parts, that's me being me. So yeah, that's the hard part I have about women working with men. And then when you got these really good looking younger women, like, would you really punch that girl in the like? There's so many ifs, ands, and buts about wrestling that I was there, like in my training class with Walter Killer Kowalski. There was a girl that we had to train with, and I cannot tell you, as much as she said to all of us, chop me, punch me, kick me, throw me around like all the other guys.
Yeah.
In my brain and my heart, I just couldn't do it. And I understand it's a work.
I get where you're too. It's like it's 100% a work.
So, Jeff, when it comes to that, just me being me,
yeah,
there's a flip side to the coin.
Okay.
So if you was an uncle and you say your brother or you had an older sister that had kids and they just had to watch Uncle Jefferson beat up a girl or get beat up by a girl, you would have to explain to them, it's wrong to hit put your hands on a girl. And even though that girl does recognizes, to me, is what I call that neutral. She don't, you know what I'm saying? It's down line. She don't care if she's man, woman, piece of wood, a pine cone off a fucking tree. She
Right.
is, or that is said name, and that is said person with whatever sexual parts they have, and it just wants to be neutral. I
Right.
respect that. I respect that. But
Like,
this is where that line teeters. That's all.
no, and that's
Teeters
fair.
from the it teeters from the humane part of society. It's just like, how can I say? I can say it. Black people want to be treated fair. Outlaw the word "n" in rap singing so that people couldn't utilize it, and you probably, you know what I mean, and you would probably hear less of it.
Right.
So, with that being said, you have a flip side to putting your hands on a woman.
Yeah.
That's all.
No, I agree with that 100%. And personally, I'm not a fan of intergender wrestling because I have morals like that too. I do not like putting my hands on a woman in any sort of way, especially when it's something that I really like getting inside of where it's circle.
Yeah,
Do I respect the market behind it? Yes, because I do see it. At the same time, for my own moral,
yeah.
I'm not a person.
Like I know of two guys in the state of Maine now. I believe it's the Maine State Posse, and they recognize gender neutral. I believe now, or that new word there, something sexual or something like that. What was
Non-binary, I
that?
believe.
Yes,
Non-binary, I believe.
yes. So I believe they wrestle now as not as I believe they wrestle now, not with the same look that they had before the
Yeah.
pandemic. I believe it's
Their look has changed drastically.
yes. I hear their look is more along the feminine side of more feminine. Got more not they have gone from the masculinity side of the Main State Posse more to a feminine side of the Main State
Right.
Posse, and they've
There's a lot more
recognized
too.
they've recognized that part of them, and all the power to them. A talented tag team, but just
Right.
different, man.
Very
Just
much.
very different,
And
you
honestly, I think
know.
it's really good for their market.
Yeah,
I mean, even though it's very like renowned in like professional wrestling, there's gender fluid wrestlers like nowadays. MSP is doing very well with that market. In all honesty, I'm just happy to do well with it.
yeah. One of the best wrestlers in the world today is Effie. Effie's
Yeah.
recognized around the world as gay,
Oh, super recognizable
you know.
worker.
So I mean, I have nothing.
I think you're breaking up on me there, Jay.
I'm means I have I want people out there to understand that just because I bring this up means I have nothing against it.
No.
I bring this up because this is the side of wrestling, and this is the thing that people nowadays, realistically, to a certain point, have to understand and what to deal with.
Yep. Absolutely.
You know?
Someone else may not see it the way as anyone else would, like any other wrestling fan. They might be like, "Well, wouldn't this go against their morals?" So I get your point there.
Yeah.
I think you're breaking up on me there, Jay.
Buddy, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I have 2 bars on my
For
phone.
some reason, it seems that the blanking out for some reason.
Yeah,
Weird.
it's like in the middle of your sentence. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, it sounded like a slow groove song, and I was just, oh, I can jive to this right now. Just listen to Jay.
it went it went roadblock on you.
It went wrong. Holy moly, man! You just popped
It,
the fuck out of me with that one, but
it,
yeah, it went roadblock on
it,
me, and it's doing it again.
Jeff, I'm a
Okay,
born again Christian now. Did I tell you I'm a preacher?
I can.
I do mass on Sundays now.
Oh fuck! I guess I there then.
Buddy, he's a minister now.
Who? Oh, Roblox?
Roadblock
No
is a
way.
minister.
No,
Yeah.
good for him, man. He's actually, no, he wasn't the best in the West. Super nice
The,
guy. Really nice guy. I'll,
yeah. Uh, uh, yeah. I'm a minister now.
the
Uh,
first time I
Dwight, when you and your girl get married, just come down the Rumble's house and I'll do it for free.
Dwight is right. The impression.
I'll do it for free.
Oh my god, so spot on. But
Uh,
I remember I had a match with him. And sorry, Mark, I'm not trying to bear. I like you as a person, but you weren't. But first thing I do is lock up with him, pull my hair back, and he pulls my hair back. I'm like, loosen up,
I don't know my own strength.
man. So then lock up again, and this is my part. I should try to.
Coming down in April, set it up for us. I need to know, what are you getting paid from these people for you to appear on this show? How did you get them to pay for you? Is
That's
it Mike Turner that said,
fun.
"Don't worry about it"?
Yeah,
Ryan Colson's been all over this. Thanks to the something motels for putting up with my wrestlers, and his payroll is off the hook. I might come down to the show, but I doubt I want to give up $150 payday for the night.
That is fair.
Yeah, I told Ryan, I was like, you need to book a car full of them, so it makes it. Those guys don't listen.
I believe Chantel's going up too.
Yeah, I hear she's part of the crew. Plus, they got a couple of really other smokers from the United States somewhere. A couple other smoke shows. One girl from AEW.
Okay.
They took the money out, baby. They took the money out.
They're like Chuck Martin. They got money to burn, baby.
Whoa! That's right. I'm Chuck Martin, and I got money to burn.
Oh man, I don't mean to get off topic here, but do you remember when we first met in that bar? You wrestled Eric, I believe. You broke through that curtain, you saw Chuck, and you go, "Hey, look, it's the Maritime Menace!" And the look on his face was spot on. Dude. He was so mad at you. And you go out back, you're like, I think Chuck's really mad at me, and you're laughing.
Why did you do that? And he still bought me a beer.
Yeah, that's how Chuck is, man.
I love Chuck Martin. Great guy.
Awesome guy. I love that with Chuck and just talking to him.
So I look to actively hang up my gear at the end of this summer, and right now, I'm hoping that Devin Shiddick is looking to put together 4 shows.
Yeah,
and that's the way I'll be ending my career. And in a perfect world, it will be going 4 matches with Shiddick, Pelly, Narcissus Saint, and Jim Joyce. Is how I'm looking to end my career.
Good choices too, man.
Yeah.
Guys that know you very well in the Maritimes. Pelly, you were basically day one.
Yeah, love working with all those guys. So, Jeff, talk about the trip I sent you on from my house, and you and Jacob went to NCW.
Okay. So, I believe IWE had actually a show the night before.
Yeah.
So sent me there in Dexter, Maine, and I was working a guy by the name of Frank Jagger. I don't know if he's still actively wrestling or not, but it was in his hometown. I was like, okay, I got to find a way to get this guy over and over strong. And so I gave him a few things in the comeback, and the crossbody was the last move. and Beavis, who was my manager for that night, he forgets to pull Joey Gleatz's foot, and so Joey just counted. The pop was up, and I was like, okay, I did my job. I got this guy over somehow, and especially in his hometown. And everybody was clapping. They were praising up and down. They were like, "Oh, Mitch, you did really good, and Jeff, you did a good job helping him out." And I was like, "That's just what I do, man." So after that, I forget where Jacob lives. I forget where I was. I think it was in Bangor somewhere. I ended.
Jacob lives in Bangor, yes.
Okay, thank you. I need that verification because I forget where I am half the time. You know what I mean? I don't even know if I'm sitting here right now. You know, mine works. Yeah, I stayed at his place for the night, and then we headed up to Massachusetts. I think it was North Attleboro that we went up to for the prayer for NCW. And me and Jacob, we did a battle royal to declare the number one contender for the NCW championship of the night against Lumberjake. And it was a good experience overall, man. Just being able to like travel like outside the Maritimes a little more, even though I traveled a lot and a little bit in Massachusetts through you to train the Bell Time Club. But that NCW show, it was a lot of fun, man, and I enjoyed being there. And I enjoyed everybody backstage, like Delmy Exo, Tomahawk at the time, who was now known as Rip Bison, Tim Lennox, Osiris, Shay Cotto, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, I already knew who Tim was, so I could scratch him off the list there. But I met a lot of like really people who just work. So overall, man, I liked my experience there. And JC was nice to me as well.
All right. So
Fuck off. Ah, yes. Okay. Mike, you said it. Yes, I got this on my guy.
that's from Mike. Fuck off, Forbes.
Are you ready, Rumble? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Fuck off, Forbes. And the pop went mild. But I could have milked it.
Had a question I was gonna ask, and now I totally mind farted.
I'm sorry. Is it because
So up to right now, this moment in pro wrestling has been?
Yeah.
What's your biggest moment up to right now in pro wrestling?
Biggest moment up to right now in pro wrestling?
Yep.
Well, of course, Fenway would definitely be up there. But I would really say like the heel turn that I made with the upperclassman Jefferson James. I've just been having a lot more fun with it. I feel it more, and I can get the audience behind me a lot more as a heel than I could as a babyface. So those two would definitely be like the biggest moment. But also getting over at the Forum for one night, I thought that was really cool too, considering the there up and just seeing the likes of Titus, Bobby Roode, Mark Burke, and Young, Mike Hughes.
Okay.
I think that was a cool moment for me as well. Those are the three that really stick out to me the most. And just any time really that I got to perform, I felt like it was a big moment for me.
Okay. So here's an honest question. I want you to answer this honestly.
Sure.
Because I feel I know the truth
At,
because I was there and I'm good at reading facials.
yeah.
Did you even understand what Fenway Park was? A. And B, did you even understand how important Bull Montana is to the New England legacy of professional wrestling managers?
Right.
And C, if you had it to do all over again, would you have healed out the crowd utilizing a different university, knowing you were in the mecca of all colleges around that area to realistically have been able to? Because I'm going to be honest with you.
You're breaking up on me again, Jay.
I'm I'm that man.
Yeah.
I feel after that match you were okay. Stupid internet.
Fucking
I
internet.
feel after that match you were highly disappointed in yourself.
Yeah.
I felt that you probably were expecting a lot more, and I I just know that you're
You're
not the
up on me again, Jay.
biggest of sports fans,
Right.
and you probably never really did your history on Boston sports. And my question, and man, the biggest. Now you're frozen. Jesus, goddamn Christ!
This is.
I can't hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I'll be honest with you. No, I did not have any history or like knowledge on Fenway Park. I was aware like it was a thing that I did, but I did not do any research whatsoever. And I feel very bad that I had no idea what Montana was either to New England wrestling. It was even funny that Mike McCarthy even asked me, he goes, "Do you know who this guy is?" I was like, I froze and I was just like, no. He goes, "This is Bull Montana. He's a pioneer for New England wrestling. The fact I don't know him, like, that's a little bit upsetting to me." Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I had my head down. I felt really. Uh, what was the third part of the question?
C.
See,
Would
you're breaking up on me again. Internet.
you if you had known that you could have been an ultra heel on that show by knowing where exactly you were,
Yep.
or you could have really made an ultra baby face with Bull Montana
Right.
out there, I believe. Pelly is the bum. Knowing that you could
Right.
have you were wearing the Boston University colors, that you could have
Right.
said, if you people get behind me, my dorm is right up the street. And if I win, it's a free kegger at Jeff James's dorm room. Like, just easy things to,
Look
like,
back.
even, yes, looking back at it.
Yeah.
Even though you are from Canada, Canadians go to college in Boston, and
Yep.
BU especially, because that's where a lot of hockey players go.
Certainly.
Boston University is huge for hockey.
Looking back, absolutely. I would have said I was attending to Boston University instead of Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, because how many people in Boston pay attention to what Dartmouth, Nova Scotia is? Not very many. But if I were to be booked as a heel, I would have said that I was attending to like St. Mary's University or somewhere else.
All right. Coming up to the very end, I
Yep.
play the name game. It doesn't have to be one word,
Okay.
it could be a few words.
Sure.
First one would be, let's go with Mike Hughes.
Mike Hughes. Okay. Do you want me to
Yeah, just a quick thing on what you when you hear the name Mike Hughes, what comes to mind?
the best wrestler in maritime wrestling?
Okay. Give me a breakdown of each member of Sabotage.
Justin Parsons Cody, aka Justin Newhook in the ring, and Matt Cox. And they are two big dudes.
Tyson, aka Saint, Narcissus Saint.
Very athletic.
Devin Shiddick.
He was there for me from the start. For my start, sorry.
Thank you. Marcus Burke.
Fantastic wrestler and very good promoter.
Chuck Martin.
funniest man in maritime wrestling. But in all fairness,
Okay.
uh,
Madison Miles.
internationally traveled.
Little Blay.
Also internationally traveled, but awesome rap gimmick.
The Moondog.
Oh man, that guy's my best friend, but probably one of the best maritime wrestlers right now, I would say, if not the best.
Dwight.
That's my homie.
The Patriot.
My main guy.
Adam Jack Pelly.
My homie.
Okay. All right, Jeff. We're almost done with you being humbled by Jason Rumble.
And I
One
sure did.
last question.
Absolutely go for it.
I've always said to you, I love how you have always put family over fame.
That's right.
And I respect that. There you go. I think in someday when you are not Jefferson James and you
Right.
just become Jeff Ferguson, I think you got a gimmick right there. Family over fame, buddy. I think that's a gimmick that you haven't even discovered. That family over fame is totally something that you roll with, and I totally respect that.
Thank you.
So with that being said, Jeff, when it's all said and done, and hopefully you can have yourself a successful in-ring career, whether it be going to the WWE, AEW, or just making an influence and an impact in children's lives all over the Maritime or wherever you perform. What are you looking to leave? What do you want to be remembered as?
I just want to be remembered as someone who gave it my all in terms of my character work and ability. And I just hope I'm behind a positive image for anyone who watches me. Like me. And I'll get back to that in a bit. But really, man, I just want people to remember me being a good in-ring performer, but a better person. And I made a lot of mistakes in and out of the ring personally, but growing day by day. And I'm grateful for the direction going. And even though be a heel some shows or babyface others, I just want people to appreciate me for what I've done. And I hope appreciate that supporting.
So your career is not done. You're a very young man. Where can the people who haven't heard of you or the people that have heard of you in this community, how do they get to watch your stuff? Where can they watch it? What's some of the stuff that's going on right now?
Right now,
promote yourself, baby.
Not really anything active right now, but I am working towards making my in-ring return to training, and then hopefully back by the end of the year or the beginning of next year. But we will see about that. But if you do want to see my matches, you can look me on New Scott, which is on YouTube. There's a bunch of James matches on there, and Jeff James from when I was a babyface. But you could also watch some of my early matches and some of my latest matches on the Madison Miles YouTube page as well.
You need to get that wrestling, the real wrestling footage you have with Pelly, and put that up. People need to see that.
And you could also,
if there's some way, shape, or form that you can share that in the Gorilla Position Community Network, it would be greatly appreciated. We'd like to see you start sharing your stuff, your matches, everything you got, Jeff. There's 126 people that are wrestling fans in there that would be willing to share your stuff, and from 126, it could go to 10,026. You just never know. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I'll make one more plug. I did mention Real Wrestling, and thank you for that. You could also find me on Bell 5 TV if you have it. And Real Wrestling is on there. There's about 6 episodes, one season, and you can can see me, Russell JP Sims, on TV, or you can go on Facebook and look up Real Wrestling, and you will see a cinematic between sidewalk stage.
Now understand this: the Bell 5 is if you're in Canada, Canadian.
Yes, thank you.
So with
Information, brother. I appreciate that. The important.
well, yeah, I wouldn't want anybody who would want to find you not find you.
Exactly.
That's
brother.
what I'm here to do. So, Jeff, with that being said, I want to thank you very much for being my guest this evening on another great edition of Being Humble with Jason Rumble. My mission here is to go through all the people that are part of my wrestling community here on the Gorilla Position Network, and even to get some outside people from the network, so everybody gets to know one another and they get to know more and more about one of the greatest sports known to man, and that is the sport of professional wrestling.
Brother.
That's right, brother.
Thank
All right, brother. You have yourself a great evening.
You as well.
It is now time for me to exit you through off the studio. And thank you for being humble with Jason Rumble. Everyone, that's Jeff James. You can find him on Facebook, I believe, under Jeff. What is? Do you have a
Jefferson James on Facebook? You can also find me on Instagram at the UPMJJ. My Twitter is the same. My TikTok is the same, even though I never used TikTok once, but I will soon. And that's pretty much it for my social media.
Beautiful. With that being said, Jeff, from me to you, thank you very much. I'm going to close it out here on the show and let everybody know. I want to thank everybody out in the world of professional professional wrestling. That I thank everybody for tuning in and greatly appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow night with Mickey Biggs, my producer, as we interview him and his illustrious accomplishment of being in the wrestling business for over 30 years and going. So with that being said, I am Jason Rumble. When I'm on the mic, I never stumble. I never fumble. At times I'm modestly humble. From me to you, that's what I got to do. Over and out. Peace high, deuces, bitches, bang. Yeah, buddy.